Hello, Dancing with the Stars fans. I'm Daniel Montgomery, senior editor at Gold Derby, here with Gold Derby contributors Jeffrey Kare and Cordell Martin. We are here to discuss top 13 night of Dancing with the Stars, which ended up the elimination of La La Land. Congratulations, La La Land, for no, wait, sorry, wait. No. Anne Heche was eliminated. The envelope was wrong. So let's start with that. Anne Heche's elimination. I don't think any of us were particularly surprised that she was eliminated. But of course, the way it went down was a bit of a surprise. To give the quick background, Tyra gets everyone out on stage and announces in no particular order, which she says every 2 or 3 celebrities, the next couple who is safe is, and then goes down the line. And eventually, Monica Aldama was called safe. She had a pretty good score, so that seemed pretty normal, like not too unexpected. We thought she might be in trouble if she didn't have a strong fan base, but she had a great score, so she got to leave. She was thrilled. She was safe. And then there are a few couples left, and it's like, no, wait, sorry, Monica, you are in jeopardy along with Anne Heche. So she had to come back out thinking she might be eliminated. And then the judges made a pretty predictable decision because, Monica got a higher score. She's been higher scoring consistently throughout the season. It was unanimous. The judges saved Monica and eliminated Anne Heche. Cordell, what did you think of that moment and just the whole live TV of it all?
I mean, it made things interesting. I'll say that. I would say I was initially going into this week. I was pretty sure it was going to be Monica and Anne in the bottom 2. But then when Monica did her jive and received all 8s, I was like, well, I think she...
Samba.
Oh, yes. That she did a great job in terms of being able to, have safety for the week. And then as they went down the, list of celebrities, and it was down to Anne, Vernon, and Chrishell, I was like, okay, well, I could see Vernon or Chrishell, joining Anne just based on how everything went that night. But then to see them kind of get confused and startled after Anne was announced, and they were like, oh, well, just kidding, Monica, you're actually the bottom 2. It's like, well, clearly you guys already had a card that said she was safe. So what are we doing there? And if you guys noticed, she said the bottom 2 before the mix-up was Vernon and Anne. So I'm like, how did you guys mix that up if you guys had the wrong cards initially? Like, that kind of threw me for a loop, so.
Yeah, I wonder if there was like an early voting result that they just like had the little preliminary information, like maybe Vernon was 3rd from the bottom and just got just enough votes to eke out once the final votes came in or whatever. Jeffrey, what did you think about it?
Well, yeah, that was just crazy. I mean, I have no idea how the hell that happened. Like, I mean, as for Anne and Keo's elimination, yeah, I wasn't really that surprised to see them go. I mean, I thought the performance they did this past week was okay at best. But yeah, I feel like, it was probably good timing for them to go now before they started growing stale after a while.
Yeah, I will say Andrew Linares, the executive producer, did comment on the little snafu at the end, and my fellow editor Joyce Eng, who also covers Dancing with the Stars at Gold Derby, she actually wrote about it. He said it wasn't Tyra Banks' fault at all. It was a quote unquote behind the scenes issue where there was a technical issue as votes were coming in. As soon as they realized what was going on and we got the correct voting information, we immediately rectified that on air. We spoke to Tyra. We got her to guide us through that. But again, I'm not sure what kind of technical issue puts Vernon at the bottom if he's not, and makes Monica safe when she's not. So it's a really weird situation. Although I will say I did appreciate Anne Heche's last clip package. I almost wish she had a different dance style, because I don't think the paso suits her. And I think if she had gotten some kind of ballroom style where she could have kind of expressed the same feelings and emotional sort of defiance and honestly, I knew that the whole Ellen DeGeneres relationship was this tabloid like insanity while they were dating. I didn't realize at the time how much that specifically took a toll on Anne Heche, because so much of the attention was on Ellen DeGeneres' career, her sitcom being canceled, then eventually her comeback, and Anne Heche's career never bounced back in quite the same way. So it was really nice to hear her be that open about that and wear that costume that wasn't just a rainbow costume. I was looking closely at it. I believe it had colors of the bisexual flag specifically in it. At least that's what it looked like, just the color configuration of it. It wasn't quite the gay pride flag exactly. So I really, really loved seeing that. I wish she had a better dance. I wish it didn't end the way it ended, but I'm glad that she went on that note. Now, Monica in the bottom two, do you think, Cordell, that means that she's kind of done? Like, I have a feeling that she's a good enough dancer that the judges might save her at least one more time if she's in the bottom again, because whoever lands at the bottom with her, there's a good chance that she's a better dancer then.
Yeah, I think with this mishap, it may help her escape the bottom two next week. I think people may feel sorry for what happened to her, and she might escape the bottom two, which means based on how the results went, Vernon probably will be joining the bottom two, and maybe Nelly. I mean, I don't know if you guys caught his reaction when they were announced safe. He looked very upset, like he wanted to go home. So hopefully the fans kind of grant his wish and let him go, because it seems like he's over it by now.
Well, he was very tired. Like, you could just see, like, from the training week, like he was sweating so much. I thought he was going to die of dehydration. So like maybe he just needed fluids.
Yeah.
Do you think Monica will survive another week, Jeffrey?
Well, I hope so. I mean, I thought the performance she and Val did this past week looks like a step, pun intended, in the right direction. And, again, I could definitely see her, even if the snafu didn't happen, I could still see probably her fans wanting to rally around her so that she can at least do better in viewer votes next week. But keeping my fingers crossed.
Yeah, I've really liked her samba, and 3 weeks in a row of the samba. Skai Jackson almost fell down, and then the week after that was Carol Baskin, and Carol Baskin her dance. So to get a great performance of a samba, like especially given what we've seen, was a really triumphant moment. And one of the reasons I don't like the samba is because it's a very nice dance. It's a great dance to look at, but it's high risk, low reward, in the sense that if you struggle with it, then it could kill you. But if you're great at a samba, it's not necessarily the most show-stopping dance style compared to like a contemporary or an Argentine tango. These really high impact and dramatic dance styles. The samba is a little bit more subtle, so you might not get succeeding with it is not as great as failing with it is bad, which we saw because Monica Aldama did a great job with the samba, and she still landed in the bottom two. But speaking of one of those other dancers who performed a samba and struggled, but this week did not perform a samba and did not struggle, Skai Jackson. And the first week she was at the top of the leaderboard. She seemed like, okay, she's one of the front runners to win this whole thing. And then the next week, she kind of almost fell down. And then the week after that, she still looked a little spooked and unsure of herself and a little tentative. So it was hard to tell, like, was that first week a fluke? Is she just got to shake some stuff off? And this week she performed in honor of Cameron Boyce, her longtime co-star on the Disney Channel on Jessie, and who tragically died in 2019 when he was only 20 years old due to epilepsy, an epileptic seizure. So she paid tribute to him with her dance, and it was kind of pitch perfect, like pristine. Like, it was so poised and elegant and confident in a way that it seemed like the last couple of weeks had shaken her confidence. I didn't see the 10 coming this early, but so what did you think about the 10 from Kare and Cordell?
I mean, I was shocked to see it myself, but as we all know, Kare Ann, if she's caught up in emotion, you just never know what she's gonna do one way or another. So just based on, her dedicating the dance to Cameron and just the beauty of the dance, I think just with Kare Ann's score was appropriate. To your point, I think this was a much needed dance for Skai because I felt the last 2 weeks she was kind of falling down to that lower tier and possibly being in jeopardy of going home. So hopefully this is just that upward trajectory for her in the weeks to come with those scores.
Yeah. What did you think of her performance, Jeffrey?
I thought it was a very beautiful routine, and it was definitely the performance she and Ellen definitely needed to get to really elevate their chances moving forward, at least for now. And yeah, I totally did not see the 10 from Carrie Ann coming, but in hindsight, maybe it shouldn't have been that surprising, but wow, but I certainly didn't think we'd get one this early in the season.
Yeah, and we had other standout routines on Monday night, and again, the judges' scoring is a little screwy because it's in this, in previous weeks we were talking about how it started too low, and then it got higher as the night went along. This week they started way too high, and they kind of had nowhere to go from there. So you ended up, with Anne Heche getting sevens and Nelly getting sevens, and their dances were okay, but they were kind of in the sixth level in terms of other performances. But if you give them sevens, that's basically your floor. Then all of a sudden, when Jeannie has a really good routine but has a little fumble at the end, a routine that would have been a very reasonable seven, suddenly the fact that that's a seven tied with all those other sevens that weren't nearly as good overall, despite her one mistake. It's like, come on, judges. Like, there shouldn't be four people on the leaderboard when those four are at the bottom of the leaderboard, when those four people had very wide range of quality of their performances. Like, there should not be a four-way tie there. Like, I have a feeling that in a couple of those early dances, the judges each thought, well, the other ones are going to give them sixes, so I'll be the one who gives them and they all end up giving sevens. So it really did feel a little screwy there, and it meant everyone was kind of jumbled together. There was also a lot of people who got all eights, Justina Machado, Neve Schulman, AJ McLean, who would have gotten a little less if Len were there, because honestly, it was a Backstreet Boys performance with only 10% cha-cha in it.
Freestyle.
Yeah, it was a very well executed performance, even if it wasn't quite the routine it was supposed to be. But we got a lot of people bunched up in there. Who else stood out for you on the night, Cordell?
Yeah, definitely love Jeannie's performance. Justina, I mean, she's one of my faves from the beginning. Neve has consistently done extremely well. Caitlin as well. I thought overall, majority of the couples did really well, and their scores reflect that. Just with Nelly, once he started off the night and received all sevens, I knew this was going to definitely be a night where a lot of couples were going to be overscored, or them just being overly friendly to a lot of them, because they were friendly in terms of their scores with Nelly and Anne. Because had this been a week or two later, they probably would have gotten anywhere between a 4 and a 6. But those are my favorites.
Yeah, and Neve also notably had the advantage of being a little bit more aerodynamic because he had less of the chest hair. He manscaped for Bruno, he said specifically, and as he told us, it was the first time in 15 years he'd seen his nipples. So we all got to see them together. Thank you, Neve. What did you think of the other routines, Jeffrey?
Well, some of my favorites were Keelan and Artem. I thought their routine was incredible. I really liked Justina and Sasha's. I thought theirs was outstanding. I thought Janine and Brandon's, well, I think that might have been their best performance yet. I think AJ and Cheryl both literally brought the house down. And I thought Johnny and Brits, they both looked like they were having a blast.
Yeah, Johnny, I do think he's come into his own. He started a little bit okay. He started sort of middle in the pack kind of quality, where you come from an Olympic figure skating background and you think, okay, this person's going to have it down from day one. And he didn't quite. But I think he's found his groove. The last 2 weeks, I feel like, okay, now we've got the Olympic figure skater coming to play.
Yeah.
So I expect him to do fairly well from here on out. Now, well, Skai is the first person this season so far to top the leaderboard more than once in the season. So do you think she's the front runner to win again, Cordell, or someone else? Because again, I think there's like any of 5 people right now could win the show easily.
Yeah, I mean, it's too close to call right now. I think as we continue through the season and kind of whittle down the cast members, it'll be easier to kind of figure out who's the front runner. But I'm just loving that each week it's a new person that's at the top or a new contender, and easily I can think of maybe 4 or 5 of them that are in contention to win the Mirror Ball. So I think she's near that top tier group now. It's just going to come down to the fan support. So if she happens to fall into the bottom 2 in the next couple weeks, then we'll know that there's some kind of, little falter in that fan support for her to win. So
yeah, she could sort of end up as the Ally Brooke, where like she's doing well and then nobody's voting for her, and then the voters and the judges keep pushing her through on the strength of the scores. I also think it's kind of too close to call. It's hard to. I think it will come down to fan base in a large sense, and it's hard to tell. Besides Caitlyn, who has Bachelor Nation, that's a very reliable fan base. Of those top contenders, who besides her has enough support from fans to move up in a very even kind of playing field. What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, yeah, I mean, again, there's so many others. Well, I mean, yeah, Caitlyn definitely has potential because, again, Bachelorette fans are strong. Like, hello, Hannah Brown last year. And also, Skai Jackson, she fits the mold of Disney kids who've done really well. And, Justina, and Janine or AJ or Johnny, well, I could see either of them being potential dark horses.
Well, one thing that will help determine who stays and who goes and who will ultimately win is next week's dances. Next week is 80s night. And I actually have the list pulled up, ready to go if you want to hear who's dancing what to what next week, shall we? Now, I haven't read these in advance, but, so we're all going to discover together. So we've got Monica Aldama, who is performing a tango to Tainted Love by Soft Cell.
Okay.
I kind of like the tango for her. That seems like a dance that she'd be very solid at. I don't know if it's going to be a breakout dance, but it seems like a style she'd hit. Caitlin Bristow, she's also got a tango. She is dancing to I Think We're Alone Now by Tiffany, which for a tango is an odder song choice to me. Then after that, we've got Vernon Davis. He's got a tango. To make sure, no, okay, not everyone has a tango. He's got a tango to Living on a Prayer by Bon Jovi, which fits a little bit better with the tango, I think.
Maybe a paso for that song.
Maybe. I don't know how well I see Vernon doing a tango. Like, it might be good because it's a lot of in hold, and he's a very strong partner. And sometimes he's a little stiff, but I think if he's in this very formal dance style, it might benefit him. Then you've got our girl Skai Jackson, and guess what? She's got the glorified freestyle. She's got jazz. She's dancing to The Power of Love by Huey Lewis and the News.
All right.
Okay.
So I think we might see her at the top of the leaderboard again, potentially. Let's continue looking down this list. Oh, Justina Machado also has jazz. She is dancing to Maniac by Michael Sembello. Which, okay, actually, I love that song choice for her. I'm looking forward to what she does with that. AJ McLean has a waltz to Open Arms by Journey. And, being a 90s kid myself, I know Open Arms as Mariah Carey's Open Arms cover from Journey. Daydream album. So waltz will be interesting. I'm not sure how strong he'll be in hold in a very formal dance style. He's very good with the kind of looser, expressionistic dances. Jeannie Mai will be dancing to Like a Virgin. It will be also another jazz routine.
Oh, that's gonna be fun. Her and Brandon are having fun with that.
And they're gonna do the whole wedding dress or some very Madonna costume. Then we've got Jesse Metcalfe, who struggled this past week. He's got a tango to Everybody Wants to Rule the World by Tears for Fears, which is another weird song choice for a tango, I think, and Jesse Metcalfe might struggle with that one. His technique is a little not the best, so that kind of very rigid routine might be difficult for him. But, he could also nail it. You never know. Nelly's got the samba.
Well, there you go. He's going.
Nelly's got the samba, and he is dancing to Rhythm of the Night by DeBarge, which is really fast. I feel like that song is really fast for samba. That's gonna be
they set him up for failure.
Neve Schulman, I think he's going to nail this. Neve Schulman's got a quick step to Take On Me by Aha, which seems like a slowish song for a quick step. Like it's not the most fast tempo song, but I think he'll nail it. I never worry about him.
Yeah.
Then we got two left. We've got Chriselle Staus. She's dancing a cha-cha to You Got It, The Right Stuff by New Kids on the Block. She might be okay. She might have trouble with that. I don't know. And Johnny Weir Johnny Weir's got contemporary. They're setting this season up. Oh, this is even better. Song choice. Total Eclipse of the Heart. That is just marriage of song and style with Johnny Weir doing that.
Yep, gonna go.
Yeah, I'm predicting Johnny Weir for the top of the leaderboard at this moment. What do you think, Cordell? Who are you liking? Who do you think is in trouble?
Oh well, Nelly. If you wanted to go home soon, buddy, I think Monday is your time to go with the samba. I think Johnny's definitely gonna be at the top of the leaderboard. The jazz routines with Justina, Jeannie, and Skai could go one of two ways. It could be really good, or it could just be a hot mess. With jazz routines, you can just get super crazy, but I think as long as the pros are creative with the choreography and doesn't get too crazy, depending on their partners. It's like someone with Jeannie, I think she'll love to do all the crazy tricks and flips, but she's still trying to get her balance in terms of completing those moves, as we saw in her performance on Monday. So hopefully Brandon doesn't throw too much at her that it becomes sloppy. I think it's just going to come down to the song choices too. I think some of the song choices, in my opinion, don't fit the dance styles that the couples have been assigned, but I think a few of them, though, to make it work in their favor.
What do you think, Jeffrey, about who might excel and who might struggle?
Well, I agree. Yeah, I can definitely see Johnny Weir doing very well. And yeah, I think this next week might just be the week when Nelly starts to struggle. And I just won't surprise me if that ends up happening.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It'll be an important test for his fan base because he was safe this week. He's been safe every week so far. He was tied for the bottom of the leaderboard this week, but his fans voted him out and voted him out enough that Monica Aldama fell all the way from her tie for third place down to the bottom two. So he might have a significant fan base. This will be a test. And again, maybe he'll be better than we think. Maybe he won't be at the bottom of the leaderboard. But if he is, I think there's a chance he's not bottom two. But that will be a test for sure. I think no matter how good Monica is, she probably will be, unless she's literally at the top of the leaderboard. And again, when you've got three other dancers, other celebrities doing jazz and one doing contemporary and none of them are her, like it's going to be hard for her to get to the top of that leaderboard this week. So she'll have to hope, like, really, that the other celebrity who joins her in that bottom two is someone who struggles. I think we might see Vernon at the bottom two. We might see Chriselle, although I think Chriselle might potentially have a bigger fan base than we might think. So it'll be interesting to see. Well, with that, it was a pleasure talking about this latest episode of Dancing with the Stars, and it was exciting getting to discover next week's dances with both of you in real time. Last week, I pulled it up after we finished recording, and I was like, oh, I should have done this during the actual discussion. So I've rectified that, and I will actually try and do this in the future. And discover, because that makes such a big difference. Who's dancing to what, and what style? Like, it tells you so much about what's going to happen in any given week. So thank you, Cordell. Thank you, Jeffrey, for joining me. Thank you, everyone, for watching and listening. We will see you guys next week when we discuss 80s Night, and hopefully we get the right elimination on the first try. So until then, we will see you next week.